Hi, my name is Natalie McMahon, and I'm a screenwriter and director, and also the founder and director of the Female Filmmakers Festival Berlin. I have my own production and marketing agency called McMahon Media. I originally started studying performing arts, and I worked for many years as an actress, first in theater, and then I switched more to film. And then after a couple of years working as an actress, I realized I had so many stories inside of me to tell. So I started working as a director and producing my own films. I learned all skills behind and in front of the camera and have been just making films, experimenting for many years and traveling to different film festivals. And I discovered that there's a lack of festivals for women in film. So I decided to create the Female Filmmakers Festival Berlin. And now I would say I'm mostly creating content for online digital storytelling, and I make my own films. I curate programs for festivals, and I'm part of different panels at other festivals. When I think of role models, I think of many mentors I had throughout the years. I've attended many workshops and seminars, and I met some great women from around the world who have had a great career and who are very open. That helped me a lot, and also through the festival, we've had some really good inspirational Q&As, and there were so many female filmmakers that I personally found very inspiring because they managed to make a film under difficult conditions. Sometimes they came to the festival, they presented a film to the audience, and it just shows that if you really, really want to tell a story, there's always a way, which is a great message. As a woman starting out, especially starting out very young, I always found it really hard to be taken seriously, basically. Especially if you're the director, and as the word says, you're directing the whole team, and they have to have trust in you. And I always found in the first couple of years that it was really hard to gain that trust. And then normally when people work with you, they have the trust and they know that you know what you're doing. They're happy with the project, but the initial meetings, you always fear that doubt people have as a younger woman, especially. And the same goes, I guess, for getting funding and applying for my films, but also for the festival. The funding, I know, is a challenge for everybody, but I feel especially for women sometimes it's getting better. There's a lot of initiatives that came up in the last couple of years, and it's definitely improving. I know also from our festival that for many, many filmmakers, this is a huge challenge, and a lot of them had to delay their shoots because they couldn't get the right funding. So I think in general, everybody can get into the film industry, but it's more about making your own projects and having a higher position, which is harder as a woman sometimes. And we see that a lot in different film production companies, different associations, organizations. There are women, but normally they're not necessarily in their highest positions. I think it's in general important to keep believing in yourself, because there are, no matter what you do, especially in film, there are a lot of people who say no and something is not possible, and that can have an effect on you, of course, if you hear it so many times. But I think it's just important to keep going and just try to find your community and your kind of people who have the same vision and who have the same energy as well. Then I think you will eventually find your way, even if it's a different one than you originally imagined. One skill that helped me in every situation and for every job, but especially in film, is to improvise. In film, there's so many things that happen that you just can't plan in advance, and where you have to react spontaneously. And apart from that, I think it's really important to keep learning, because in a way you're never finished. People sometimes think when you went to film school, you get a degree, and then maybe in like other jobs you can just start working in it. But I found you should also know a lot about the other fields, just so you're able to communicate using the right language with everybody on set. Or as a director, I think it's super helpful to know how to edit as well. And if worst comes to worst, do things yourself. So you're not, I think it's just the worst to be stuck, and you have to rely on people. You should always be able to do things yourself if you have to. I just believed so much in my ideas, and it was just something I really, really wanted to do. So I think for me, it was just the passion for it. So I thought, okay, if I can just shoot as much as possible, even if it's not good at the beginning. I mean, I think it's just important to do it, to experiment, and also to find your own voice. And I think through finding my own voice and my unique way of telling stories, I also managed to create something that stood out and that eventually convinced people, because you can only convince people if you have something to show. It's never just enough to talk about it. The ones I think maybe that are most useful are like WIFT, Women in Film and Television, and there's also basically they exist for every country, so there's also WIFT Germany. Another one is EPA. It's the European, I think it's audiovisual network for women in film and television. And obviously our festival was also initially created to give women a voice, especially in independent film productions, and to show films that maybe wouldn't have it so easy to be shown on the big screen, and also to show more diverse stories really from all over the world. And then also one of our partners actually from this year is called Women Make Movies, and it's a film distribution company for independent films, and it's for films made by women that tell more diverse stories and go a little bit against the standard, I would say. So yeah, I feel like there has been some really good additions and good changes in the last couple of years. I think building community is really important, especially nowadays when everybody's kind of on their own, locked into their houses. I think it's important to find your community, and there's many different ways to do that, through workshops or through networking events or online festivals, film festivals in general. Keep being active, no matter what it is. Even if it's a web series and you don't have such good equipment, you can still do something. You can record a podcast. Most important thing is to do something. If you're a writer, you have to write. If you're a singer, you have to sing. And if you're a filmmaker, you have to make films. If you somehow manage to produce something and make something, it does exist, and you don't need somebody, to tell you that you can make the film, because you already made it happen. So I think that's really important, and also the best way really to improve.